I think if you're an administrator right now, you better make sure that you are, with all due respect to every other sport, and Title IX and everything, you better be fully invested in football.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind. I am David Nuño. Alex Frugoni is with us. Luke Evangelist. Luke, before we get to Alex, you know what I like about Alex?
Yeah.
This guy comes in dictating what we're going to talk about on the freaking Rewind. He walks in, he goes, "Can I do the Rewind with you?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "Good, because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about..." Like, bro, this is not a talk show. It's an intro. Luke, am I right here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, too. He's driven. He knows what he wants to talk about.
Driven? He has one leg. He's not driving anywhere.
Right, yeah, he has a scooter.
Hey,
that
I'm out of the boot now, and the scooter was returned last week. I'm on my way to 100%. We'll call it 80% right now.
All right, program director, what do you want to talk about on the Rewind?
Well, David, since you ask, Super League, that was very intriguing to me. I am, as you know, a big soccer fan, and I know our fan base doesn't really enjoy European kickball, as OB would say, but you can honestly compare that situation to exactly what's happening right now. I mean, you look at what happened, all the British government, I think the Spanish government, and a couple others, like, shut it down immediately when all those big teams tried to split off. And I understand that to an extent because, like, those teams, those smaller teams would pretty much cease to exist if that happened. And you could say the same thing about college football. I mean, those smaller programs, they would have a really hard time if all the good teams grouped together. So I thought that was interesting from Tom.
Luke, what do you think I'm thinking?
You're probably thinking that soccer is fun.
Yeah, soccer is fun. No, I was thinking he gave us a legitimate hot sports take, a 12-minute take, which I, by the way, thought was very well thought out, on the Rewind, which is only 30 seconds. So on the Rewind, it was a good job, though. Justin Lanham was on the show. Tom Hart was on the show. We had a good talk about technology, by the way. And around the SEC, Luke Evangelist, who says that Jackson Moss would destroy Alex Frugoni in a boxing match.
He would probably kill me.
Yeah,
yes,
he would.
But if I fought Luke, on the other hand,
there's nobody here that you wouldn't beat. All right, that you would beat. Sorry, it's the Rewind. Check it out. This game matters for Texas more than it does for A&M at the moment.
Well,
now,
it appears to.
At the moment, if A&M were to lose this game, and I'm not saying they are, by the way, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. It's a midweek game that you lost, and first loss of the year is not cool, but like you're playing for bigger things than beating a team 90 miles away.
That is absolutely correct. Yet.
There's a yet.
It's always a big deal when A&M plays Texas.
100%.
And when Texas plays A&M.
It is. And you know what? I think it's a big deal, not only for the folks on social media that like to come at Aggie fans or go at SIP fans, but for the people in that locker room. You heard Schloss yesterday talk about it. Like, it matters. Like, this, Braden Montgomery's about to find out about this matters. So it does matter. They're sending their, I believe Tanner Witt's their ace, right?
Right.
You know?
That's where I'm going with that.
So it must matter to them.
Their number one pitcher didn't pitch over the weekend?
He pitched an inning or two.
Did he?
Yeah,
okay.
But he pitched a little bit.
He didn't pitch a lot over the weekend.
No.
Obviously,
they were saving it
for this.
Yeah. Look, and I don't, as a fan, I love it if I'm Texas, right?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. If Chris Cortez, who is probably the shakiest of the four starters, is that fair?
He's Luke LaLoosh.
Yeah, when he's good, he's good.
He has serious stuff.
And he's been really good this year. He's been really good, right?
When he gets the ball, when he has control, he's excellent with control, but you got to put in that caveat.
My point is, it really does matter to us. But hopefully in May and June, it's just an afterthought.
You always want to win the battle, but, this won't decide both the war. Right?
In 22, they beat Texas in, it was when we were at the NIT, okay? At the NIT semifinal, they won that game. Mm-hmm. Then we fast forward to Omaha.
Yeah.
Had Texas won that game, that's the only thing that really matters, right? But who won that game?
A&M.
Texas A&M.
Manny, I feel like he's just kind of, you don't know where he's going to score from, and I think that kind of keeps you on your toes as a defense, and so that's what you want. And so the thing with Manny is if he can win kind of the turnover margin, if his assists to turnovers, if he can make sure that he's not turning the ball over at a high rate, then yeah, I feel like you've got to keep him on the floor more. He's long, he's athletic. Defensively, he gives you some more length at the guard spot, contesting shots. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I think there's been at times where I felt like he's dribbled too much.
Yep.
But to be honest, with what our offense is, I mean, what else are we going to go to? And so I think it's not a bad. It's not. I think he in the rotation. I think he should get some more minutes.
All right, let's close out with this. Do you think this team's going to make the tournament, or are you feeling like, does it all come down to what happens against Mississippi State unless they, just tell me where they are tournament-wise in your thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I think you got to obviously take care of the last two. 100% have to. And then I think obviously you got to at least win a game or two possibly in the conference tournament. But to me too, I think I saw I can't remember who posted it. I want to give them credit, but I can't remember who posted it. But I was reading, and tonight's game between Florida and Alabama is a big game because that could potentially put Florida into it would be a quad 1 win for us potentially. And so I think that there's some things like that. And then, like I mentioned early on in the of this call is just hoping that other teams don't steal something from us when they're not supposed to get into the dance and steal a bid from us. So I think that I'll say this, the thing that's tough is we had it where it was in our control to make the dance. And now I feel like it's kind of being taken out of our control and some of it's going to be out of our hands.
I think if you're an administrator right now, you better make sure that you are, with all due respect to every other sport, and Title IX and everything, you better be fully invested in football. And you better be prepared to win. If you're not, and one bad season could be the demarcation point between being in or out, you're done. You're done. Your entire athletic department is going to be restructured, and you're going to look more like a, Division III athletic department as opposed to what we know of as Division I. I don't have a good feel for the timeline. I know where the trend is going. I'm worried about the future of the sports in terms of everybody fighting for a dollar, and we deserve this, and we demand that, with it seems to be very little foresight into how it impacts holistically whatever sport or structure is in place right now. Like, for example, I understand that the SEC and the Big Ten believe that they deserve automatic bids to an expanded playoff. But you don't have to have it. You just want it. And you just want to get your clause in there to demand it. Is that what's good for the sport as a whole?
Nope.
Would it be better for college football if we only had 40 teams or 60 teams? I mean, I hate the non-conference Sun Belt matchups. I don't think that's much fun. But I think there's room in the college sports landscape for Northwestern and Syracuse and Wake Forest and Oregon State and Washington State. And I think that's what makes the sport special. The NFL is invite only, and that's great, but it's one of one. To be more inclusive, I think, leads to more stability as a whole and more interest.
I've got a lot. We call it around the SEC, but I think after we get to around the SEC, we got to go around College Station because there's a lot going on, and that's been going on that I didn't get to cover in my initial hit. But I will start with SEC baseball. It was a pretty big week for the SEC. Some of the main highlights: number 2, LSU going undefeated at the Astros Foundation Classic. That was a 6-3 win over Texas, which we all remember. Mm-hmm. Texas notably went 0-3 on that weekend, but they're not in the SEC yet. So I want to touch on the other SEC team that was there. That was Vanderbilt, who also went 3-0. That included a 14-11 win over Texas, where Texas had an 11-3 lead, and Vanderbilt came all the way back to win. The other notable game for the SEC was number 16 Alabama taking down number 20 Indiana 12-0. So a very good week for SEC baseball.
Yeah, very good week. Any other storylines to get into?
Nothing really from the SEC. The big news being Arch Manning deciding that he was too good to be in the game. And there were some funny comments on the YouTube. Somebody said that the Manning family saw that 71 overall and said, no, we're good, and told him not to play. I don't know the real reason why he chose not to join, but that was kind of the big storyline this morning out of the SEC.
Look, I'm going to be very honest with you. I know as a talk show host, I'm supposed to have like these hard sports takes. I don't care. Like if he doesn't want, he's got like, you do leave it up for interpretation, right? When you don't do it, and you make a comment like he did, which was, I want to focus on football. You leave it for us to analyze, but like whatever. If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. I, being a terrible athlete, would be honored to be in it, right? And not have the millions of dollars that the Mannings have. I'd be honored to be on the video game. But can't you make players?
Yeah, you can.
There was somebody had reported that you may not be able to make these players, but just call him Arch or Archie,
Yeah.
or make somebody like him.
Yeah. You could absolutely do that. I just think it's just, everyone's opting in. You've waited 10 years for this game because players were not getting paid, and now you get it served up on a golden platter to be in the game, and you choose not to. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna miss him being in the game. Like, he was a backup. So
Alex Fragoni. I like to do that sometimes. Tell the people what to do.
Like, subscribe, comment, repost, tell your friends, tell your parents.
If I could set up a Luke Evangelist, Alex Fragoni fight night fight, would you do it?
I'm a lover, not a fighter. So.
See, comes talking trash and decides Nuño will really get it done. I mean, I'll set it up.
I don't know. Maybe I'll fight him. Maybe not.
No, you won't. It's TexAgs Rewind. Thanks.